Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for coming and being here and being a part of our How She Built It online summit. We're so excited to have with us today Erin, Loman, Jeck. Hello, Erin. How are
Hey,
you?
good. I'm so excited to be here.
Yes, so we're really excited to have you here as a guest. And whether you are new in our summit, whether you have a lot more to go back and catch up on, please make sure that you do that because we would love for you to be able to be encouraged by all of these Christian women that are having success in their business without having to sacrifice their faith and their family. And I'm hoping that by now you're noticing that we are wanting you to have real strategies that you can implement and put into your business. And we're bringing to you a group of women that we've actually handpicked, just like Erin, to really be able to come and showcase the things that they have learned in the course of their careers and their journeys, being leaders. And so we're hopeful and really excited about our last interview today with Erin. So my dog Teddy is going to be probably like trying to steal the show, but I ask that you focus because Erin's got juicy, really great stuff that we're going to talk about. So, Erin, why don't you do me a favor and take a second to tell us two things? Tell us first where you live in the world, and tell us too a little bit about your business and exactly what it is that you do so everyone can get more familiar with you.
Of course. So, Erin, Loman, Jeck, and I live in Seattle. So, right now it's kind of gloomy and cold outside, but it's so beautiful here. And I love living in the Pacific Northwest because we have the mountains and the ocean. So, for me, it's the best of both worlds. And for me, it's funny, when I look back in my life, you kind of look back and you say, okay, there's been a plan all along. And I didn't think that this is what I was going to be when I grew up. I wanted to be a dolphin trainer. And I was, but that wasn't the be all end all. What ended up transpiring is all the things in between, right? So looking back and seeing that, I went to school for psychology, and then I went in to be a marriage and family therapist. And what really shook me was that a lot of people would come in, and have the same problems and not do anything about it. And I knew that I was not destined to sit there and listen to people keep complaining about the same things. And so I left about 10 credits shy of my master's, and everyone thought I was crazy. But I knew that that's not what I was here for. And so then I became a coach, because at least as a coach, people are coming to you for change. And so I transitioned into business coaching, and then everyone kept seeing me speak everywhere. And they saw, how do you get on all these stages? And so I was like, there's a need here that people are, not finding how to do this. And so I went to work and I started hiring the top coaches in the world. I kept learning from the top coaches. And I really decided that, helping people get their message out. My biggest thing is I want to help the world. And I can't do that with just my message and just my voice. So now I train speakers, I train entrepreneurs, I train people who have a message to deliver, to get out there and do it in a way so you deeply connect with your audience. You really do see the change that you're here to do and live out your God-given purpose. Because we know all these stories, the things that happen in our life, they were on purpose. In the midst of them, you might not see that, but afterwards you can look back and go, oh yeah, that's what that was about, right? So that's what I really
Definitely.
love doing, is helping people take their mess, which they think is a mess, and create a message and change the world.
Awesome. I love that. And again, that's like a consistent pattern that we've had in several of these interviews. And then even everyone right now listening, like in your own life, you're like, this was the muck, like this is the crazy. And some of you may feel right now you're in the middle of that. You're not like maybe on, oh, I'm seeing how God's using this. But like I know myself, I have got so many things that if you look back, it feels crazy. And you're like, how on earth is God gonna take like this experience and this experience? But as I look now, like back at the last 20 years, like it was almost as if it was like this masterpiece that God was able to create, like based on honestly in the moment were terrible, really hard, life-changing things. So that's really encouraging. And today what we're going to really focus on are two main strategies that really have been a key part to Erin's success. And the first one that we're going to really focus on is this idea of building deep connections while also building a really large network and then showing support to others and then just helping celebrate those people. So break this down for us. Talk to us. What does that mean really? And how did it help you?
Yeah, so my husband was in the military, so we traveled a lot. And so to try to build a tribe of people was difficult. And when we moved from Whidbey Island over to the Seattle area, I knew maybe like 5 people. So I thought about how would I strategically get to know the influencers that I really wanted to bring into my business, that I wanted to connect with, that connect me to their tribes. And so I literally sought out an events, and I would stand in the back of the room and I would watch. Who is it that everyone wants to talk to? Who is there a line lined up for? And so then I would just go up and say, hey, I'm new, and here's, I'd love to learn more about you and what you do. And I really deeply connected with them because I wanted to know how I could support them. How can you be of service? I am a servant's heart first and foremost. Every day I say, okay, use me. And what happens is when you meet someone, you ask them their aspirations, you ask them what they're working on, you ask them what's making them super excited about life right now, and then you see if you can support them in that. And so sometimes people will come up and say, oh my gosh, I wanted to meet so-and-so. And I'm like, oh my gosh, guess what? I know that person, right? So the thing is, I always feel like it's my God-given gift that when I meet someone, I might not know why I'm meeting them, and I'm getting all this information. And literally, if I can't do it in that moment of contributing back to exactly what they need, by calling it out, we're actually like calling it in, right? Like dialing it up to the catalog. And what I literally will walk into someone saying, oh, I'm looking for someone who does this. And I'm like, oh, that's why that person said that. So I immediately connect people. And I think the main thing is a lot of times when people are networking, we've all been there, where people are like slinging their business cards in your face and not really getting to know you and what you really need. And so I think if we can just stand above all of that by really deeply connecting with people, I've been able to build a huge network. I'm able to walk into, it's kind of funny, I went to a big event, there was like a line that went out around the door, around the hotel, and I was like, man, we got to stand at the end of the line because we just got here. And immediately I saw people, and this was in California, this wasn't even here, I saw people that I had met at other events, and they're like, Erin, come stand with us, you got to meet her, you got to meet this person. So instead of having to stand in the back of the line and wait all of that time, I was able to shortcut and be with people and then feel like they were giving back to me because I poured into them. Mm. And so it's really important to find out in others, what are they working on? What are they doing? And maybe it's not business. Maybe it's, I need a nanny, right? Or I need a housekeeper. And if you can help them find solutions and help them feel like you move the needle for them, even just a little bit, they'll be forever in your debt, and they will be the biggest champions. And sometimes it's kind of funny because they might not ever ask you what you do. When you start asking them about all of the things for them, and you're pouring into them and you're being a servant, the best part is they'll turn around and go over to someone and say, oh my gosh, did you meet Erin? They're like, no, what does she do? Oh no, I don't know. I got to go back and find out. But they feel so loved and taken care of that they will do anything for you. And so a lot of times now I walk into networking groups or meetings or conferences, and I'm literally stand in one place and people bring people to me. You need to meet Erin, and here's why. And so this is how you really can connect with people, be a servant, and really reap the benefits. Because I probably get 3 to 5 referrals a week, even over Facebook. Because people are like, who's done a TEDx? Who do you know teaches TEDx? Or who do you know is the best speaking coach? Or who do you know that knows this? I get those all the time because people I've poured into them for so long that I'm the first person on top of their list to support. So I think it's important.
I think it is. In fact, it's interesting. I feel called to share this. Is I sat down just before our interview and I was just quickly looking at my email, and I got an email literally 37 minutes ago, but it's from Lila Higgins, which is like this really great girl I met at a conference this past spring. Haven't had tons of connections with her, but her email just really touched me. She pretty much just said, "You've been on my mind lately. How's your summit launch going? Please let me know anything I can do to help you. I just shared the post today, but if there's something else I can do to get the word out, like just let me know. Kindly, Lila." Like that was
Yeah.
all the email. And I'm just telling you, like little things like that doesn't have to be like you're the life of the party, even like at an event. So I want you guys to know everything that Erin's saying works for all personality types. Like this email that I got in my email inbox is ridiculous. And I'm working on that right now. But I'm just saying this email like completely just shot Lila up in my mind, like 100 points on like, I cannot tell you, just the kindness and that integrity just makes me want to get to know her even more. So those little things that you can do that come across as just truly genuine, saying, how can I be of support, makes a big difference.
And sometimes, you know, you don't have to have the answers for everyone, but sometimes they just need to be heard. Maybe no one's asked them what excites them in their life. What are they working on? Maybe no one's ever asked them, so they don't actually get to talk about themselves. We all know, we all love to talk about us. But so if you can do that for others and really hear them and they just feel heard, if that's the only thing you contribute back, it's something. Because I'll tell you, I've had someone say to me, no one's ever listened to me and asked me this many questions about what truly drives me. And I feel like for the first time, I have a deep connection with someone. And they were on the edge of, you know, wanting to give up and not do this anymore and maybe even leave this planet. So you never know what an ear will do. So it doesn't have to be that you have answers. Sometimes it's just to be there and listen.
No, that's so true. And I think that it's really important for people to know that you can go out there and kind of work your way into this. If it feels like you're not necessarily sure how to go about growing that network and celebrating others, not that it means that, I'm not trying to say that it's someone that's selfish, but I think that to some people doing that almost even in like a different space, whether it be like on social media, like it feels unnatural. It feels like something that they have to work on, like a true skill of like, I want to get better at this. And would you agree, Erin, like just like you ride a bicycle the first time and you're not super successful, but you keep doing it and you keep doing it, like you get better at
Yeah.
all of these skills that we want to say, this is a way for you to better your business and better the progress that you're making.
Well, and this goes into your kids. This goes into your husband and wife. This goes into, let's really get to know what's going on for the other person. So practice at home. Practice with some of your best friends. Maybe you don't know what they're up to and what they need support in. Because a lot of times, as women especially, we don't always ask for help, right? So I might have this burning desire to, you know, let's see, meet Michelle Obama. I'll just make this up. And if I have this burning desire for that, and I don't share it with anyone, I'm not enlisting God's angels to help me, right? And my friends, maybe somebody knows somebody. And it's as easy as just saying, here's what I need support in. Here's what I'm looking for. Who knows someone? Just do that with your friends. Do that with your family and practice until it becomes natural.
Mm. So speaking of speaking, that kind of segues us into your second strategy that's really been effective in helping you, which is this idea of speaking as a tool for marketing and then just really sharing value. So tell us a little bit about how speaking really helped you for those people that maybe they are already speaking maybe 2 to 10 times a year, but they're like, I want to do more of that. And then really just share like really how it's been a part of your success strategy.
So first and foremost, thinking about it, most people don't like to be in front of the room. It's the biggest fear on the planet, right? So if you are in front of an audience, whether it's an audience of 5 or 500, you have a stature that you know, it's automatic credibility. And it like 10x's your credibility to be in front of the room doing what you do. And so if you can get in front of the room, do it. Even if that's raising your hand and somebody says, does anyone have anything to say or questions, or, hey, what was your takeaway? Give yourself the opportunity to get in front of the room and say something, right? So it's really important to think about the audience. Like I always say, if you had the cure to cancer, would you keep it or would you give it away? And we all know we would give it away. But what happens is that our stories, like I said, our mess becomes our message, right? And so our stories and what we went through and the solutions we found is someone else's cure. It either is this direct blueprint of what they could do for themselves, or it plants seeds for things that they can start thinking about and maybe tweaking to make relevant for them. But if you don't get in front of a room and share those things, it doesn't create a movement of Me Too. The Me Too thing for me, it was funny before the thing came out, was I have these signs at my speaker summit that says Me Too, and it's a big purple heart. Anytime someone in the front of the room is sharing a story or sharing something they've gone through, if you feel like you've gone through that too, you hit a Me Too, right? And that's because I want people to get the direct correlation that your story really matters and what you're sharing really is connecting with the audience. And you can't do that without being vulnerable and sharing what happened for you. Now, the most important thing is not to share something you haven't healed yet. If I was to go up on stage and say, "Oh my gosh, my business is failing. I'm at bankruptcy or eviction, and I'm currently in it," that can ruin my credibility, right? But come and sign up to work with me. Right. But if you share, and we've seen that, but if you share from a place where you were here, because they see you up here right now, right? They see you all up here, and you look amazing. You're on stage. You're doing it. But then they don't know that you used to be down here. And what it took for me to get from here to here is the story. It's you sharing that. It's sharing the solutions. And when you do that, they say, "Oh my gosh," because usually your clients are somewhere in here and they're trying to find the route to the top of the mountain. And without knowing that you've been there, done that, you don't connect. And so one of the things I teach in speaking is the 3 important things to cover in a talk. And this can even go on one-on-one. This could be in a coaching call. You name it. You can use these 3 questions to deeply connect, like we said before. What was I thinking? What was I feeling? And what was I experiencing physicality-wise in my physical body? So let me explain that. If I share a story and I'm just like, and here's the details, I got out of the shower, I hit my toe, I walked to the sink, right? We're just telling the data. But if I said I was in the shower and I was thinking, what is the next big thing for me? And I was feeling, yeah, I don't know if you're good enough for that. And maybe everyone's going to laugh at you. And then I started to feel that deep fear and anxiety of taking a big risk, right? You know, the kind of anxiety that builds up and you get the butterflies in your stomach and you feel like the tingling in your chest. All of a sudden, all of you have experienced those things at least once in your life. So it immediately connects us. It's using my psychology background with the speaking and the business part of this to really tell your story that connects with all people. And especially because those 3 things are human experiences. So if you're a human, you've had those things, right? Mm-hmm. So if you can share that in your story and in your value and in your message, people will say, "You're the person for me." And they'll hire you, whatever you do. If you were a painter and you said, "Man, what started me in painting was," and then you go on to the story and you hit those 3 points, you're going to stand out about the person in the yellow pages that's another painter, right? So really thinking about how you got to where you are, how you found the solutions to where you are now, and really sharing that and deeply connecting will exponentially grow your business. And if you think about it, if you're in front of 5 people instead of 1 person, the likelihood of closing that somebody is higher. So just the numbers game even just makes sense in speaking. But to stand out in your speaking, you have to tell your story. And you have to tell them those 3 things. What was I thinking? What was I feeling? And what was I experiencing physicality wise, so that you deeply connect with them and they see you as their expert.
Erin, what do you say to the person that's listening right now that is saying to themselves, for example, okay, you know what? I've got the story, but like this is my business. Like I am a social media strategist, or here's my story, and or I sell pet shampoo. Like, how do you take the maybe this story and maybe relate it to what you do professionally?
Yeah. So I had this question and I asked one of my mentors, Bo Easton, because I said, I was a dolphin trainer. How am I going to put that into what I do now? Right. So when I started looking at my story and just of like giving people a background in the beginning of my talk, I say, you know, how many people here want to create a movement with their message? Right. And then I say, well, it wasn't always like that for me. I realized I was being created for greatness. And I go back and I say, my very first talk, I was 10 years old, standing room only. It was my dad's funeral, right? And then I walk through my life and I look at every little piece. I used to dance on stages. I used to, be in film, like doing acting. And then I used to do all these things. Now I can look back at all of these things and realize what it drove me to, right? So you can take parts of your story. Even if I wanted to talk about dolphin training, the thing that people don't realize is to become a dolphin trainer, I went to Florida and on a whim, went and
Oh, it looks like we lost Erin. Maybe she will be right back. But what I want to do real quickly while we're waiting to see if she logs right back in is really let you know that it's so powerful, just like Erin was just saying, that you have the ability to really be able to say this is the legacy, or these are the things that feel really disconnected. How did those parts of the past connect with what you want to actually still be able to do? Hey, welcome back.
I'm talking. My computer just totally went black. I don't even know what it's doing right now. So
That's okay. Yeah, I was just, while you disappeared, I was like, I'm going to keep going because this is all going to work out. But I was sharing how you were just saying you had been on stages. You had that really unfortunate time when you were 10, and you said your father had passed away.
yeah,
And it was like these little pieces of your past were ultimately like little stepping stones for what you ultimately ended up doing.
yeah. And when I get to the transition for that is that God was creating greatness in me. I just didn't know in those moments. And now it adds to my credibility. All of these experiences add to my credibility of being a speaker and a speaker coach, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when I look at it, I didn't go to school to be a speaker coach. I didn't go and get a certification in it. I have been being prepared for greatness all along. And the part of the story that I tell is I literally was a business coach driving down the road to the world's greatest speaking summit. And business coaching had gotten difficult and painful. And I wasn't getting the clients I wanted. And so I felt like I was starting all over again. And as I was driving, I heard that big booming voice that said, get in your lane. And I was like, I am in my lane. And I'm looking to make sure I'm not like in a wreck or crash into anybody. And then he's like, no, the lane that I've created for you all along. And it was in that moment that I looked at all of the things, almost like my life flashed before my eyes of everything that's been training me to be this person today.
Mm.
And so that's what I want you to think about. You might not think that those stories relate. You might not think, how am I going to put dolphin training in this? But it was the determination of what I did to get to that when it was my dream. And that also drove me to being like announcing it. I was like in the dolphin training thing where you have to be up there and you're talking with a microphone and you're explaining what's going on. So all of those little things along the way, if you look at it, you can see I was being created for greatness.
No, I love that. And what I'm really excited about is I think it's awesome. Erin, everybody has a free gift for you to be able to really go and say to yourself, how do I know if what I've got inside of me and my message is really TEDx worthy? So Erin, take a second, tell everybody who may be completely unfamiliar with what TEDx even is, and really tell us a little bit about this free gift you have.
Yes. Well, a lot of people, whether you're a speaker or not, a lot of scientists, teachers, inventors, everybody loves the TEDx stage. It is a stage that's locally run by a big global platform. So the big global platform, if you went to TED.com and you went into, you could see all these speakers from around the world at all these events, and they're 18-minute talks. And the great thing about TEDx is that it's not a pitch session. It's not, it's not specific on industry. It really is, do you have an idea worth sharing? Do you have a new perspective on something? And so what I love about TEDx is you have people from Elon Musk talking to Simon Sinek about finding your why. When I do the screening committee, I learned about harnessing solar power from the moon. These are like really cool, geeky things that are fun to learn about that you might not ever see anywhere else because it's not your industry. And so it's an amazing platform for people to get their message out. And so in the free giveaway I have, you can go in and look at some of the questions to ask yourself, to really dig deep into your stories, to dig deep in your life. Like I said, and looking at your life, what are the things that really have, helped create you for greatness, for you to be ready for that, to share that message. And so there's, I think there's like 20 questions in there that kind of lead you through knowing how to craft that story for yourself.
That's so awesome. And you guys, this is like a $250 value. So I want you all on this exact page where you're watching this video, you've got access for you to click that big bright green button to get access to this free gift. I'll tell you where I'm going to just tell you so you can know, but all you have to do is just click the green button. It's going to automatically take you there. But you all want to go to erinlomanjeck.com, and that's ErinLomanJeck.com. So check that out, and really appreciate you and your generosity for sharing that with our entire audience, Erin.
Of course.
So yeah, as we wrap up, I want to ask you one last question. We have women and we have men that are watching this, because I think that it's powerful that we've got a platform of Christian women in business really having a place to really be able to share their stories and really to feature them, such as yourself, Erin. And if you had one aha moment that's happened in your time in your career that you think could shed some light on some of the women that are going to be watching today, that maybe helped you in your balance of being able to pursue what you were doing without this feeling of I'm giving up or I'm sacrificing my faith or my family, what might that one tip be as we get ready to close?
Yeah, one of the things that I teach a lot of my clients is my CEO hat. So I have a CEO hat that I wear throughout the day. My husband goes to school to be a massage therapist right now. So he watches my daughter, I have a 2 and a 10-year-old. So I'm pretty busy to balance all of this. But I have my CEO hat. And the minute though I come home or leave my office, I take off my CEO hat and put on my mom and my wife hat. Because if I was to come home with that CEO energy, I turn into almost like an alpha male in a way, with that drive and that passion and going for it. But if I was to meet my husband with feeling that energy, he's not gonna like it, right? He's gonna feel like we're gonna be two wolves, fighting for the power. And so I really take that down and become present with my children and my husband and really get into that, because it was a hard shift for me, because I feel this energy and I'm doing it, and then I come home and I'm still in it, and it's like, that doesn't work. And it doesn't make my husband attracted to me either when I'm in that place, right? And so it really is important to think about the hats you're wearing. That balance of, okay, and I'm going to take this hat off right now because I'm here to be of service. I'm going to take that hat off because I'm here to be present with my children, and I think it's that, humbleness of like, okay, taking these things, like it's almost like costumes, taking all these hats off, so that I can be humble and surrender to what I'm here to do as a human at home, and how I'm providing back for my family as well. So I think for people to start thinking about how you show up in different situations and what hat you're wearing, and making sure you have the right hat on for that moment is important, because that's how balance, I feel, for me has really come, is balancing what hat am I wearing right now? How am I showing up? So I think it's important.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for that tip. I know that that was an encouragement to me, and I know that that's going to be an encouragement to so many people that are listening. So thank you. Thank you again so much for just coming and being a part of our How She Built It Summit, Erin.
Thank you. It's been my honor.
Awesome. Well, everyone, we are so excited. If you have missed any of the prior recordings that we have for you as a part of this 21 video series in the How She Built It Summit, make sure that you go and check those out. Just go look into your email inbox and you'll have all of those links easily accessible for you. We also do want to let you know that we are going to have available for just a very short window of time. If you want to have long-term access to all of these videos, we are going to make them available for purchase, but we want to make sure that we let everybody know that we are going to make sure that we take a portion of all of the proceeds, and we are going to be making donations to either two different causes. We're going to be putting them towards the supporting of ending human trafficking, or putting those efforts towards the idea of coming alongside foster care families and those that are interested in adoption. So we just wanted to share that with everybody. Want to thank you so much for enjoying this. Please give us your feedback. Feel free to send an email to heather@sweetteasocialmarketing.com. Let us know how these videos have impacted you, because that is one of the greatest reasons that we actually even put this together in the first place. You guys be encouraged. Enjoy the rest of your day. And thank you so much for joining Erin and myself on this journey. You guys take care. Bye-bye.